A millionaire took his new housekeeper to his company's gala dinner. But what she did shocked everyone. Before the story begins, tell us in the comments what city you're watching from. And at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story, everyone. William Porter crossed the mansion's living room with irritated steps, his phone buzzing non-stop inside his jacket pocket. Another message from the board. Another demand about tomorrow's gala dinner. Another reminder of the pressure on him to save the company's image, an image he himself had put at risk. He stopped when he saw the new temporary housekeeper cleaning the living room furniture. The woman didn't even notice his presence, too focused on scrubbing an invisible stain on the coffee table. "You," William called sharply. The housekeeper jumped, almost dropping the cleaning bottle. When she turned around, her eyes widened in surprise. "Mr. Porter, I didn't know you were home. Do you need something? What's your name?" "Daisy. Daisy Stevens, sir." William stared at her for a moment. Out of options, out of time, and out of patience, an absurd idea came to his mind. He was desperate, and desperate people made questionable decisions. "How much do you make per day?" Daisy frowned, clearly confused. $120. "Why?" "I need a date for my company's gala dinner tomorrow night," William said, crossing his arms, his tone cold and direct. "I'm willing to pay you $4,000 for a few hours of your time." The silence that followed was deafening. Daisy blinked several times, trying to process if she had heard him correctly. "Sorry, did you say $4,000? "Exactly. To come with me to the gala dinner." William checked his watch impatiently. "It's an important corporate event. I need to appear with someone by my side. You just need to wear something elegant, sit at the table, smile when needed, and keep quiet. No opinions, no unnecessary conversations, just be presentable and discreet." Daisy let out an incredulous laugh. "You're joking, right?" "I don't joke about money. It's a simple business deal. You pretend to be my companion, I pay you well, and everyone wins." "You want to use me as a decorative accessory?" Daisy dropped the cleaning cloth, her voice filled with irritation. "Like I'm just a piece of furniture that matches the room?" "If you want to put it that way, yes," William said without a hint of embarrassment. "But a piece of furniture that'll walk away with $5,000 in her pocket. My final proposal. Take it or leave it." Daisy took a deep breath. Her eyes wandered around the luxurious room, then returned to William with a mix of defiance and resignation. "I'll do it," she said finally, lifting her chin. "But let's be clear, it's not because I admire you. It's because $5,000 makes a difference in the life of someone who actually has to work to survive. And because I'm curious to see up close how this world of entitled people really works." William arched an eyebrow. "Careful with that sharp tongue. Tomorrow, I need the silent, smiling companion." "Tomorrow, I'll be whoever you paid for," Daisy replied with irony. "Today, I'm still the housekeeper who says what she thinks." The next evening, at exactly 7 o'clock, the doorbell rang. Daisy opened the door to find William in an impeccable black tuxedo. He looked her up and down. She was wearing a simple black dress, her hair pinned up elegantly. She didn't look like a socialite, but she certainly didn't look like a housekeeper either. The ride to the 5-star hotel was filled with uncomfortable silence. As they approached the ballroom, William broke it. "Remember the rules. Smile, stay by my side, and most importantly, don't say anything. Absolutely nothing. Let me handle all conversations." "Yes, sir. I'll be a lovely decorative vase," Daisy replied. The ballroom was stunning, filled with chandeliers and elite executives. They sat at the main table. Dinner began with endless speeches about market growth and quarterly profits. Daisy ate quietly, listening to the conversations around her. It was disturbing. These people talked about employee layoffs as if they were discussing the menu. "Employees are replaceable resources," one executive agreed, cutting his steak with surgical precision. What matters is keeping shareholders happy. Daisy gripped her fork tighter. William stayed calm, nodding in agreement with the coldness in the room. Then, an elegant older man across from them turned to Daisy with a condescending smile. "And you, my dear?" he asked. "What do you think of all these corporate topics? It must be rather boring for someone outside our world." Daisy felt William stiffen beside her. She could practically hear him screaming, "Smile. Stay quiet." She opened her mouth to give a polite, empty answer, but the words that came out were completely different. "Actually, Mr. Moretti," she said, reading his name card, "I find it fascinating how a company can show such impressive numbers on its reports and yet lose the only resource that truly matters: engaged and motivated people. Treating employees like disposable parts is simply digging your own grave." The silence that followed was absolute. William froze, his wine glass suspended in midair. The decorative vase had just started to speak, and she wasn't planning on stopping. "Eventually, your best people will leave, and then it won't matter how much money you have to hire replacements. The company's reputation will already be damaged." The silence at the gala table was deafening. Mr. Moretti, the most powerful shareholder, leaned in, fascinated. "Interesting. And where does this knowledge come from? What field do you work in?" Daisy hesitated for a split second, then threw the rules out the window. "Right now, I work as a housekeeper, Mr. Moretti. But I graduated in business administration 2 years ago. I just never got a real opportunity because no one hires without experience. It's a never-ending circle." The bomb had been dropped. Daisy could feel the tension radiating from William like waves of heat. He had brought his housekeeper to the most important dinner of the year, and now the secret was out. But instead of being offended, Moretti's eyes shone with curiosity. "A housekeeper with a degree. What a waste of talent," Moretti murmured. "Please, continue." For the next hour, to William's horror and the table's fascination, Daisy spoke with passion about people management, employee well-being, and brand loyalty. She wasn't just a pretty accessory anymore. She was the smartest person in the room. "Extraordinary," Moretti said, handing her a business card. "Miss Daisy, come see me Monday morning. I have an opening in human resources. It's entry-level, but with real potential." Daisy looked at the card like it was a winning lottery ticket. I accept. Thank you, Mr. Moretti." The ride home was a war zone. William finally exploded in the car. "You had one simple instruction: stay quiet." "Technically, you also told me to smile, and I smiled a lot," Daisy replied coolly. "So I met 50% of your expectations." "This isn't funny, Daisy. You embarrassed me." "Oh yes, what a tragedy to have someone intelligent sitting next to you," she snapped back. When they reached her building, William tried one last desperate move. "On Monday, you won't show up. I'll double your payment. $10,000 for you to forget this and move on." Daisy started to laugh. "You can't be serious. $15,000? William raised the offer. Daisy stopped laughing. Her voice turned cold. "This isn't about money, William. It's about finally having a chance to prove what I'm capable of. You could offer $1 million, and the answer would still be no." "You'll regret this," William warned. "I can make your life very difficult in that company." "Threats? How classy," Daisy said, slamming the car door. "Keep your money. I'll earn mine with honest work." Monday morning came, and Daisy walked into Porter Enterprises wearing a clearance rack blazer and a heart full of fire. She was assigned to a cubicle in HR, and she was barely organized when a familiar, unfriendly voice appeared behind her. "I see you actually decided to show up." William stood there, arms crossed. "Good morning, boss," Daisy said with exaggerated sweetness. "Or should I say, former boss? You report to Moretti, and he reports to me." William narrowed his eyes. "So technically, I'm still your boss. And I won't make things easy. I'll be watching every mistake, every slip, every late report. Great, Daisy smiled, settling into her chair. Then you'll have plenty of free time, because I don't plan on making mistakes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have real work to do. Weeks passed in a whirlwind. Daisy was a natural, outperforming senior analysts. But William was true to his word. He haunted the HR department, checking her work and trying to rattle her. The real test arrived when Daisy was called to her first major strategic meeting to represent HR. She walked into the boardroom and felt the weight of every stare. Experienced directors, department heads, and at the head of the table, William Porter, waiting for her to fail. "Let's begin," William said curtly. "We have a proposal to. We need to reduce staff by 15% in the customer service department," the finance director declared, his voice cold and analytical. "The numbers show we can maintain productivity with fewer people." William stayed silent at the head of the table, but Daisy felt a fire rising in her chest. "With all due respect," Daisy's voice cut through the room, "I think this analysis is incomplete." Every head turned. William stiffened. "Incomplete?" The director sneered. "In what way, Miss Stevens?" Daisy took a deep breath. "The numbers don't account for workplace morale or service quality. A 15% cut will lead to burnout and customer dissatisfaction. In the long term, you'll lose more revenue than you save." "That's just speculation," another executive countered. "Actually, it's documented data," Daisy replied, opening her laptop. She projected a 5-year analysis she had prepared in secret. Every time this company cut staff, retention dropped and complaints spiked. The cost of training replacements was higher than the initial savings. The room went dead silent. Moretti, the senior shareholder, leaned forward with a smile. "You prepared this yourself?" "Yes, sir. And I have a counterproposal, an optimization plan that keeps every job and increases efficiency by 20%. William finally spoke, his voice unreadable. "Show us. If it's viable, we'll consider it." For the next week, Daisy practically lived in the office. She talked to 63 employees, identified bottlenecks, and built a roadmap for an integrated system. She wasn't just guessing, she was proving that she knew the company better than the people running it. The day of the final presentation arrived. Daisy stood before the board, her hands steady. She showed how a $200,000 investment in technology and training would save the company $300,000 in the first year alone. When she finished, she looked at William. He stayed silent for an eternity. Finally, he nodded. "It's a solid proposal," he admitted, the words clearly costing him effort. "Well grounded. I approve the pilot project. And Miss Stevens, you will be the one leading the implementation." Daisy blinked in shock. "Me? You developed it. You know the people. Unless," William challenged her with a smirk, "you don't feel capable." "I accept," Daisy said, her chin held high. As the meeting adjourned, the housekeeper was suddenly the one everyone wanted to talk to. When the room finally cleared, only William and Daisy remained. "You're wading into deep waters, Daisy," he said quietly. "Promising results you might not be able to deliver." "And you're underestimating me." "Again," she replied, picking up her bag. "I don't promise what I can't deliver. And when this works, you'll have to admit you were wrong about me." She walked toward the door but stopped and turned back with a triumphant grin. "Oh, and William. I'm still waiting for that $5,000 from the Gala night. Don't be late." William's expression was a priceless mix of irritation and a reluctant, growing respect. Daisy walked out of that boardroom not as a temporary employee, but as a leader. She had proven that a title doesn't define a person, their courage, their brains, and their heart do.